I'm a softie. I'm a softie. I think I got this one photo from Ken West. It's a postcard, and this black guy is the subject, and he has this big beard, and he has like little flowers. Young man, probably early 20s, but a beautiful beard, and it's got little flowers in it. And has this T-shirt on. It says "Black men cry," or "Black boys cry too." And when I get a chance, I'll send it to you. But it resonates so much because I think there's this human part that the world forgets, or at least in America, that how human we are as black men, and it gets lost. It gets lost that we're supposed to be these big, imposing figures, and we're not. We're just as emotionally competent as any other person on this planet. And we need hugs. We need to cry. We need to laugh out loud. And it's tough for us because we don't get those kind of spaces without causing other people to feel intimidated when we are our full emotional selves.
Mm-hmm. Sponsored by Midland. Communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years. Sponsored by MyMedic. Sponsored by Tembo Tusk. Sponsored by Trail Rated Coffee Company. Sponsored by CK Knife and Tool.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
What's up, you guys? I'm Sonia.
And I'm Dakota, and we're Staples and Tents. And today we're at Overland Expo East in Arrington, Virginia, hanging out with my boy Phil from Waypoint Overland.
Yeah. And so I grew up in Durham, North Carolina.
And I grew up in Martinsville, Virginia.
And currently we live in Atlanta, Georgia.
I didn't grow up off-roading, didn't grow up with travel. I grew up in rural Virginia. In that location, those kind of things weren't really valued. So it wasn't until I was like 16 before I went to Myrtle Beach, and that was like a major thing. So it was, for me, my ideas of what travel looked like came from reading books, reading encyclopedias, and at some point, when I went off to the military, that was when I actually started understanding what travel looked like.
Mm-hmm. And like Dakota, I also didn't grow up off-roading, but slightly different. I did grow up traveling a little bit. I ran track growing up, and fortunately, we traveled as a track team, so I was able to visit different states. And then my mom, she was a pharmacist, and her pharmacy, she was a pharmacy technician, and her conventions, they a lot of times mimicked our track schedule. So we traveled to a lot of states, Florida, Minnesota, Texas, places that had I not ran track, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to go. But in terms of travel, how we do now, travel is very different. And we actually took our first international trip together. So
we
didn't travel internationally at all as a kid.
Yeah, and that first trip was Jamaica. And I think right then and there on that trip, we recognized we were different.
We travel different.
Yeah, we did an all-inclusive stay, and first and only one for as far as we were paying was concerned, and we had a really negative experience with Americans being Americans and not treating the host country with a lot of respect. Mm-hmm. But fortunately for us, we got to know the staff that was at the resort that we were at, and there was this kind of kinship that we recognized immediately within each other, and they wanted us to see their country as family members. And so they made a lot of arrangements for us to link up with them and then start traveling.
So with Staples and Tents, Nakota and I, we are very focused on providing positive images of Black and brown people in the outdoors in order to motivate and inspire other people to get outside and adventure. And then through that, we started another community, Black People Off-Road, which Nakota does an amazing job with. And he features different Black, brown people and allies, or I guess different BIPOCs and allies on a weekly basis to bring attention and showcase other people that aren't necessarily featured in the off-roading and overlanding community.
Yeah, so just to help draw people together, be bridge builders for the country that we live in. And it's been very well received as far as helping other clubs form and do their own thing regionally for where they are. Mm-hmm. So we've been really grateful to be, to have a part in the overall community of off-roading, and also the same thing with overlanding, trying to be the bridge builders for those, for the community, and bring in BIPOC, brown allies together. To show them the beauty of overlanding, to show them the beauty of the country, and maybe to inspire them to consider overlanding in other countries so that they can understand culture. Because that's really what overlanding is about. Yes, you're vehicle-based dependent, but the bigger thing is, can you go to other countries and really be vulnerable enough to experience that country and those countrymen for whatever their day-to-day life experiences are.
Exactly. And then specific with our YouTube channel, we started it, let me rewind. Growing up, we also didn't camp. We weren't outdoorsy people at all. We live in the middle of downtown Atlanta, so we're probably the furthest thing from outdoor people you could think of. But once we were introduced to camping, it really became a slippery slope, and we started our YouTube channel for the reasons that I said, but it was really to help educate our friends and families, and then it turned into what it is now. But one of the things that's unique about us, we show you the good and the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly, because we want people to see our progression, see our growth. If you look at a video from 5 years ago, we were learning, we were figuring it out, and we're still learning and we're still figuring it out. And we think it's important to show people that you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing when you get out there. The important part is to get out there, to enjoy yourself and to have fun. And if you're not having fun, try it a different way, Try it a different way. If you need a toilet, if you need a shower, if you need a heater, do what you need to do in order to really enjoy yourself and get out there. Just get out there. The history and I guess the matriculation of us overlanding is a long story, but for the sake of this, we'll try to make it as short as possible. Again, we're city dwellers, not country people at all. Our idea before 5 years ago of having fun was to go to a nice bar, a nice lounge, an art gallery, and like a serious city scene. But we had the opportunity to go camping together, and begrudgingly, Nakota said yes to this. We were in a very difficult place in our marriage. Our marriage counselor gave us the advice to say yes to each other. When I recommended camping, he said yes.
Begrudgingly.
And we didn't have, a truck or an SUV at the time. We were driving Nakota's 650 BMW Grand Coupe, again, because we're city people, and driving through an area much like this, grassy, a little mud, dirty car. So Nakota is legit upset. But we had borrowed my best friend's tent. We had a really good setup. And fast forward a little bit, we ended up having an amazing time. We had an amazing time. And on the way back home, Nakota's like, yes, I want to do this. I want to do this.
This is what I want to do. So we bought a tent immediately, and a few months later, we went through the process of getting a car or a truck, and through that research,
we were not driving his 650 anymore.
So we decided we were just going to find an old beater truck so that we could throw our gear in and go wherever we wanted to go. And it ended up becoming Frank the Tank, which is a 97 FZJ80 triple lock Land Cruiser, a really special truck. And went through the process of building it out. And at the time, it was only for camping that we were considering it. But we decided to come to an Overland Expo East event. And through coming to that event, we really started to meet people who were doing further travel than we were thinking that we would be wanting to do. And it led to us having our first overland experience, which was driving across country to Overland West in that same year. And from that moment on, I think the concept of what overlanding meant transformed for us and became something that we wanted to build towards and start working on a platform that would allow us to build out a truck so that we could be vehicle dependent and then get the right truck so that we could travel to different countries.
Yeah. But I would say even before we technically started overlanding, we went on vacation in Australia.
Yep.
And we were talking to someone, a New Zealander, a Kiwi, about how beautiful their country was, and we wanted to go see the Great Barrier Reef, and we wanted to see this place, and we wanted to see that place. All places outside of the United States. And they started asking us questions. Well, have you seen this in the United? And this was back in 2005. Have you seen the Grand Canyon? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And we were like, no.
I hadn't seen it. No.
And we consider ourselves to be, even then, we considered ourselves to be fairly outside of the box travelers. When we would go to cities, we would see the, non-touristy stuff. But having that conversation with a non-American about all the beauty within our country, it changed our perspective. So then when we would go to Vegas, we would go see Hoover Dam, we would go see the Valley of Fire, we would get outside of, further outside of the cities than we typically would.
Yeah. We were spending less time in the city because we wanted to go and see more of what the rest of the world was coming to America to see.
Exactly. So we learned early on that our style of travel was different, but that one particular conversation really gave us the craving to want to see more of our country. And when we were introduced to overlanding and took that first trip out west, we're like, we are missing a whole lot.
Yeah.
We're missing a whole lot. Like, everywhere you turn, there's just beauty, and there's peace, and there's healing, and there's space. So why not do this?
Yeah. We got to satisfy that curiosity. We got to satisfy that wanderlust that was born in us, which I think is like one of the biggest pieces of overlanding is kind of, I'm not lost, but I do want to wander and see what else is there. I have to understand what's over that hill, what's around that curve, what's down that mountain, and really take the time to heal in those spaces.
Yeah, it's not enough to look at a picture of a beautiful mountain range or a beautiful sunset. We want to go see it. We want to go see it for ourselves and experience it for ourselves. So, yeah, how we started overlanding.
How we started overlanding.
In a long but short story. So in terms of our setup, currently we are tent campers. We're ground tent campers. And the main reason we do this is it's of the accommodation options for overlanding, the tent is probably the most affordable. And in addition, we're city people, so we don't have a lot of storage. So to be able to pack up a tent in a relatively small footprint, we can put it in our storage unit, we can put it in the closet, and we can have it out of the way. When we selected a tent, we were very fortunate that the very first tent that we tried was a Big Agnes, and it was a really quality tent. And we saw the benefit of having a quality tent versus, there's nothing wrong with getting a tent from Walmart. You get what you can afford, and then it lasts for as long as it lasts, and you replace it. But we knew we wanted to camp we knew this was something that we really wanted to do. So we spent what we could on a tent. So our very first tent was a REI.
A used one.
Our very first tent was a REI Kingdom 6. We got it used off of Craigslist because that's what we could afford.
Yeah.
We had that tent for 5 years. We just swapped out tents. to a Big Agnes bunkhouse.
6.
Yeah, a bunkhouse 6. We really like the 6-person setup because when we go, we like to be comfortable. We like to have a little space and not be on top of each other. Like to be able to stand up and put our clothes on. You know, if we need to, wash or do anything, do those things in our tent. That's what we like to be able to do. So we like to have that extra space. We did try a rooftop tent for a moment, and for the place that we were in our camping and overlanding journey, it didn't work for us. It was big, it was heavy, and it's also specific to the one that we bought. Yeah. It was big, it was heavy, it had a lot of drag. So we went back to the ground tent. But right now, with our plan to transition into full-time overlanding, we are considering other options, a small trailer, a hardtop rooftop tent, and we're going to see where that takes us.
Yeah. When we first started, we wanted to get just a central truck to do some camping. It wasn't anything special. I wanted something reliable. I wanted something dependable. But it had to be 4-wheel drive.
And affordable.
Right. So we had about a $6,000 or $7,000 budget, and I went through and looked at every vehicle manufacturer. What was their 4-wheel drive? How did their 4-wheel drive system work? And then what were the things that were considered reliable, dependable, and had some known histories about them. And eventually that landed us with a Land Cruiser. And we loved our first one, but we recognize it's a 25-year plus truck. It's at the end of its life, service life. And at this point, maintaining it is fairly expensive if you want to keep it with the same pedigree that it started with. So I started doing some research. We were having some car issues with the car that we were driving, and I decided, you know what, enough is enough. Let's just go ahead and get the vehicle that we want to travel around the planet with. And the same kind of process of reviewing all of the different types of 4-wheel drive vehicles that were out there, and it came back that the 200 series Land Cruiser was still considered an exceptional vehicle to do world travel. Packs inside of a crate very well. You can ship it to anywhere on the planet. The parts for Toyota are across the planet, so it's not really hard to find them. And it's a mechanically simple V8 platform. Bulletproof engine, 1,000,000 miles, 25 years service life. Just not a lot of things that you can argue against a Land Cruiser. So for the affordable price that it is in the United States, and knowing how much people pay for it across the rest of the planet, seems like it was a pretty good way to go. So we landed with a 200 series. We've done a few modifications to it to make it more road capable. 2.5-inch lift. We're using an Ironman Pro foam cell setup, BFG 35-inch tires, and we also decided to go with a long-range fuel tank, so LRA 40-gallon to give us about 66 gallons worth of gas, so around 750 miles of range on it, and then the rest of it just some simple mods to make it a little easier for us when we're inside the cabin. So that's essentially where we are with it. We're very happy with the capability of it. Really easy for Sonia to drive when she's behind the wheel. And that was also very important to us. We wanted it to be simple for either of us to drive under any conditions.
And I think above all of that, or in addition to all of that, the vehicle is extremely comfortable. It's extremely comfortable in terms of an off-road vehicle, a highway vehicle. It is comfortable on all terrains.
On all places, yeah, and everywhere.
Yeah, some other off-road vehicles they can't necessarily say the same.
Yeah, but they're great on the trail, but not on the highway, or they're great on the highway and not on the trail. Yeah, and the Land Cruiser isn't necessarily the number one vehicle in any particular category. But all around, nothing really competes with it. There are a few out there, but price point, all around vehicle is just a solid choice.
So in terms of obstacles that we face traveling this way, I think the biggest one is just getting out there and doing it. There's a lot of anxiety, specifically for Black and brown people, for traveling the country. The world, not so much, but traveling in rural parts of America can be a little scary because you often don't see people who look like you. So that hurdle was huge for me, just getting over myself and understanding that this is my country. This is most of this land is public land, and I have just as much freedom to travel on it as anyone else. So that was a huge hurdle. But in addition to that, when we talk about going full time, family is huge to me. I grew up 3 sisters. My parents were married until my mother passed away. So my family were very close. And I've lost my mother. I've lost my sister. So just conceptually, not being able to get to my family if they need me, not being able to be there to support my family, those are things that provide challenges to me just emotionally. And even as I speak about it, I get a little choked up. Yeah. But, I want to be there. I want to be the aunt who's there for my niece and nephew. I want to be the child who is there for my father. I want to be there for my sister, whatever they need. So that's definitely a huge hurdle for me, clearly, because I'm about to cry.
It's all good.
It's all good, baby.
It's all good.
But I know that when I have to be there for other people, but I also have to be there for myself, and I also have to be there for Dakota. So this is definitely something, although I'm shedding a tear right now, this is definitely something that I want. But when we talk about hurdles, it's definitely a hurdle. Yeah.
And
specifically when we're talking about going internationally and living in some remote area of Africa for 2 months, I'm like, what if my daddy gets sick?
Yeah. I think the time has been a hurdle. It's been focus on, trying to maintain a work-life balance, and overlanding is becoming more of the work that we are aspiring to do, but still in corporate America, and that is its own hurdle. So time and money, I think, are big hurdles. But as far as getting out there, I think there's a lot of trepidation with the fear of, do we have the right gear? Mm-hmm. Do we even know where we're going? What happens when mechanical issues arise? When we get to border crossings, do we have the paperwork? Do we have all of the unknown things?
Being prepared.
Yeah. Are we prepared enough? And yeah, do we really have it? And also imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, this whole thing for us is relatively new. We've been in this whole camping, overlanding, off-roading for 5 years. And there's this real part of it that is, do I even know what I'm doing? How much do I really understand? And I know that I don't have the kind of experience like 7P or some of the people who have been doing this for decades, but I do have the same will. Mm-hmm. So that is my drive, and whether I have the knowledge or the experience is just something that's going to have to come through trial and fire.
Yeah. And if I could circle back just to the time and the money aspect, as an American that works full time, it is hard. It is hard to say, I'm going to drive to California. It takes 4 or 5 days to drive to California comfortably. So most people, they take 4 or 5 days for their whole vacation. So that was a challenge, just to dig into it a little more, the time and the money portion, because how do I even plan a trip to drive across country? Yeah. But one of the things we did when I was working, I've been self-employed for about 1.5 years now, and Dakota's still gainfully employed and supporting this journey financially right now. But I got 3 weeks of vacation before I resigned from my job, and it was really tough, trying to work extra hours to take an extra half a day off, not take vacation, use more sick time instead of vacation, and then just bank up that time so that we can take 2 weeks and travel across the country. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, but you have to decide what it is that you want to see. And I think that's one of the reasons when we first started seeing more of the country, we would fly to a big city and then drive out, because we didn't have that time.
Yeah.
We did it however we could.
Yeah.
And then as this became more and more, as camping and off-roading and overlanding became more of a focus to us, we shifted our energy, and we decided,
and our resources,
as opposed to taking a vacation to South Africa, we're going to take that same 3 weeks that we would use in South Africa, schedule it around Christmas time when we have some extra time off, and we'll drive across country.
Yeah.
So I know that was a very emotional moment for me, but it is real. We've talked to other people that are full-time overlanders that have legit had to cut ties with their family because their families don't understand. Their families legit do not understand. And I consider myself privileged that my family, they want the best for me. They want me to go and explore my life, and I'm still getting emotional again. But I mean, I love my family. My family loves me, so it's very important to me. And when I pitched it to them, like even my nieces and nephews was like, oh, you're going to get to go visit Aunt Sonia in all of these places, and my dad is like, oh, well, and very blessed. My daddy will come see me wherever I live. Wherever I live, my daddy is going to come see me. So this is an opportunity I look at for my family to broaden their horizons and see more of the world, because I know they're going to come see me.
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah. and there's a lot of inspiration with that, that we know that as being explorers, which is really what we're becoming. Right.
We're real life explorers.
And to know that we are influencing so many other people is so touching and uplifting. To meet people who are watching our videos, and through our own journey, they see a way for their own journey to start and get out there into the world and meet wonderful people, these overlanders out here. It's not the shared camaraderie of being a world citizen, and inspiring other people to do it. And our own nieces and nephews are looking to us. They are now talking about, when we come to see them, they want to know if we're going to go camping.
Yeah, I want to go camping. I want to go camping, Aunt Sonia.
Yeah, daughters want to go camping. They're like, I don't want to do the city stuff. I want to just go out in the woods and hang out with you. And it's just so humbling.
It's very humbling.
That this is our gift. And to know that it was born because our relationship had crashed and was on the burner. to know that it was born in hurt and became such a place of healing, and now a place of inspiration for others, is just, I couldn't ask for anything better. And I'm so glad that we get to do it together.
Exactly. And I think growing up as Black people in America who didn't camp, who didn't go outdoors due to legit fear, it's so touching and humbling that I'm inspiring my family, other people's families, to literally hear. We took my niece and nephew camping when they were 2 and 6, and for years, my niece, she would rub sticks together. I'm making a fire like Aunt Sonia. And now, we've had the opportunity to take all of our nieces and nephews camping. And we're planning this event October 22nd through the 24th, the gathering, which will be just that, a gathering of diverse people, of like-minded people, to come to a very comfortable location, to explore the concept of camping and walk away with more confidence and curiosity about the outdoors. But at that event, my dad will be there. You know, my dad's wife will be there. My sister will be there. My nieces and nephews will be there. Our friends will be there. Our friends' families will be there. There will be people that we don't know, that we've never met. All at this event because they believe in what we're doing, they see the vision, and they're inspired by us as well. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm a softie. I'm a softie. I think I got this one photo from Ken West. It's a postcard, and this black guy is the subject, and he has this big beard, and he has like little flowers. Young man, probably early 20s, but a beautiful beard, and it's got little flowers in it. And has this T-shirt on. It says "Black men cry," or "Black boys cry too." And when I get a chance, I'll send it to you. But it resonates so much because I think there's this human part that the world forgets, or at least in America, that how human we are as black men, and it gets lost. It gets lost that we're supposed to be these big, imposing figures, and we're not. You know, we're just as emotionally competent as any other person on this planet. And we need hugs. We need to cry. We need to laugh out loud. And it's tough for us because we don't get those kind of spaces without causing other people to feel intimidated when we are our full emotional selves.
Mm-hmm. We grow up conditioned. Our conditioning has been conditioned. And you grow up with a certain vision of what success looks like. Go to college, graduate, get a job, get married, buy a house, have kids. But
And then die.
and then die. You work all your life and die. If I knew what I knew now, I would not have worked so hard to achieve those things. You know, get the job, get the house, get the rental properties, do all that stuff. I would have lived. Because I think back to when I was in college. I went to college on a full scholarship. I got $12,000 a year to pay my tuition, my room and board, to eat, whatever bills I had to pay. And I lived. We lived great lives in college. We lived really good lives in college. But immediately upon graduation, you start incurring debt and you start buying things. And then you're almost forced to go to work every day. Whereas now, you know, we've been working for 20 plus years for you, and we're trying to simplify our life and go back to a place where we were in college when we had way less overhead and way less responsibilities so that we can have the freedom to live. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have lived life as a 20-something-year-old and explored the world, because you always have time to work.
What I wish I had known now. What would I have told a younger Nakota? I would have told myself to find ways to love people where they were, where they are, to listen more, to encourage more for whatever their journey is, and not to be so imposing on my worldview. I think that would have been the biggest thing. I would have told myself that the forest is your friend. That the 10-year-old version of yourself, the kid that wanted to play in the woods, connect.
He was on to something.
Connect with them, find them, go out in the woods and find them.
Or don't lose him.
Yeah,
'Cause
no, he was out there.
The 10-year-old version of yourself knew.
Yeah, yeah,
So don't lose him.
yeah. Don't lose him. Go get him, and just to get out in the woods, and buy a hammock. If I had known anything about a hammock, anything about a hammock, and just go out and walk in the woods from time to time, and the rest will come.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go through your life. I don't regret how we got here. I don't think we would have gotten here any other way.
Yeah, definitely no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets, no regrets. And you just gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's one of the beautiful things about youth today is that youth today, they are a lot more liberal with their exploration. I think the whole idea of YouTube and putting exploring and traveling as a career, is huge. And people are growing up nowadays with different visions, seeing that they can do way more things, just due to social media. So yeah. Last year, Nakota and I, we purchased this vehicle, the 2016 Land Cruiser, and it is affectionately called Dot. Dorothy is my grandmother's name. And when we talked about naming this vehicle, we threw out a whole lot of things. It was Coco. I forgot what else we threw out. But one day we had a conversation with my grandmother. We called her. My grandmother's 98 years old. She'll be 99 in December. And 2020 was a really tough year for a lot of people. But my sister passed away. And my sister was my best friend. So I'm talking to my grandmother and I'm like, how have you done this? How have you lived 98 years? You've lost all your siblings. You've lost all your parents. You've lost grandchildren. You've lost children. How have you done this? How are you so resilient? And she tells us, she was like, you don't have a choice but to be. You don't have a choice but to be strong. And she said, I grew up, my mama was raised on the rough side of the mountain. I was raised on the rough side of the mountain, and I raised my children on the rough side of the mountain. We had no choice but to be strong. So at that moment, we were like, that's some real stuff right there. And when we purchased this truck for the reliability, for the strength, and how it could take us along on our journey.
The resilience
of it, how it could lead us on our journey successfully. So we decided to affectionately name the truck Dot, which we also made an acronym, Deep Overland Transport. But over the last 12 months, this has definitely been the biggest investment and the best investment that we've made, because this is the vehicle that we plan on taking us around the world. So
enough said. Honestly, I like driving on the beach. I like driving in sand. Any kind of trail is fun, for whatever might be. I'm not big on mud, only because
it's hard on the vehicles.
Yeah, it's so much to clean, and it corrodes so much of the truck unnecessarily. But driving on sand or a beach or something, I enjoy it because you're going at a fairly slow speed, and you can really enjoy the ocean and the sound of the waves with the windows down.
It's a whole vibe.
It's just a vibe.
It's a whole vibe driving in the ocean.
Yeah, driving by the ocean is just a vibe.
Yeah.
But also driving behind the dunes, it's the same kind of thing where you're really getting to exercise the truck. If you're fortunate, you can have a few different sand variations and see how the truck performs in those conditions. So that really makes me happy when we can get to a destination and do some sand driving.
Yeah. And I think every terrain has its benefits. I'm not a super I don't prefer super technical trails and rocks and boulders, only because it takes a lot more effort. You have to be a lot more aware of where you're going. There's a lot more that could go wrong in terms of getting stuck. So that's not my favorite. But even with that, it has its benefits because you can get stuck. You have to work together better. You have to communicate more. And all that stuff is why we're so driven to do this lifestyle, because being out on the road, it helps us communicate more. It helps us work together. And we really look at every opportunity as a team building exercise. You don't get to focus on all the other stuff. You know, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? No, we're stuck right here and we have to get out of this situation.
Yeah. How do we
We
make
don't
this
have
work?
time for bickering. We don't have time for arguing. We need to be clear. We need to understand each other. We need to slow down and get it done. So I enjoy everything we do. And as long as I'm with this guy right here, I'm good.
Yeah. And you know, funny enough, I would say I don't mind driving over anything if we can get to a sunset. If it takes us to a destination, I'm all for it. You know, because for me,
Yeah.
it isn't necessarily the journey of going over all of the whatever terrain is there. You know, because Dot gonna get it. Dot will get it done, but if it can get us to a spot,
It's like a pot of gold at the end of the
yeah,
rainbow.
it's like the end of the rainbow, and there's this. We won.
Yeah.
Stage left.
And sometimes you find that pot of gold on the trail.
Yeah.
You know, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. We've had some of the most beautiful and magical times just on the trail, where we pulled over on the side of the road, sat, watched the view, made lunch, and just had a great time.
Yeah.
So it's all about that journey and making sure it's worth the experience.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. The top of our bucket list has been the same since we started. It's always been Africa.
Always.
It's always been Africa.
Always.
And this isn't just starting overlanding, starting our relationship, starting life. We've always wanted to explore Africa. In 2015, we designed our first overlanding experience. This was before we were overlanders, to do the garden route along the south coast of South Africa. We did not, because of time limitations. We chose to fly to Johannesburg, fly to Cape Town, fly to Hoedspruit, and just explore all of the different regions of the country. But once we set out full time and make it to Africa, the very first thing we're going to do is the garden route of Africa, as well as explore the whole continent. So always that has been at the top of the list.
Yeah. And right now we're planning, when we leave Atlanta, it's going to be to drive up to the Arctic Circle, and then do Dempster Highway, Dalton. I mean, it's the only way that you can really go. But the goal is to get up there, to touch the Arctic Ocean, and then make our way down to Baja, spend a little bit of time down there, and then jump into Mexico and make our way down through Central America and into South America, and maybe, you know, get out to Patagonia, which I think would be amazing to see. Mm-hmm. But, you know, how long and how far that journey is part of why we are getting out there to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's been this slow goodbye to our current way of life, and this gradual introduction into what tomorrow is going to look like for us. COVID has provided a good buffer for us so that we could sort of take our time and get everything organized as best we can so that we can start that journey.
Mm-hmm. Our immediate next thing and event is The Gathering. It is a camp out being held October 22nd through 24th in Crawfordville, Georgia. And camping, overlanding has always been something that is very near and dear to Nakota, to our hearts. It is what we what we credit to saving our relationship, to saving our marriage. So we've always kept it very close. Something that we shared on YouTube, we shared on Instagram, but we typically don't share our space with other people because it adds so many different personalities and so many different dynamics. And when Dakota and I go out in the woods, we are trying to work on each other. We're trying to work on ourselves. We're trying to work on our relationship. So we're very selective about who we camp with. But we also recognize that we have a lot of information to share. We know a lot of people who have a lot of information to share. So we wanted to get a group of people together, a group of like-minded people together with all ranges of experience, from the I have never camped to I camped in the military and that won't my thing, to the expert overlander and camper. So all the ranges will be there.
Yeah. All the campings.
All the campings will be there. There'll be tent campers. There'll be rooftop tents. There'll be RVs. However you want to outdoor, we're creating the space for you to do it.
Yeah, and we're doing it at this place called Bomax Ranch in Crawfordville, Georgia. Wonderful lady, Janetta, owns it, and it's her property that she purchased in a head nod to her ancestors. So beautiful ranch, 55 acres, somewhere around there. And she's opened up the entire property for us. And we've partnered with a number of companies, Hip Camp, REI, Overland Journal, Sawyer, Gaia GPS.
We've gotten a lot of support. I wish we had the whole list in front of us so we can name everybody.
But it's so much of a blessing to have this kind of support from companies that are pouring into us and recognize the importance of what it is that we're trying to do, and introducing so many different people to the outdoors, camping world and overlanding world.
And what I would say is that our goal in the event is to expose people who would not have been exposed to camping, to expose them to it. That's the goal of our event. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you come from, where you live. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
If you're camp curious, we're looking for you. We want to make you more camp confident, and this overall experience of what camping is should be camp comfortable. So those are our 3 C's for it. And we're looking to inspire other people to really take that next step, whatever it looks like in your outdoor exploration.
Exactly. So at the event, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have good food, fried fish, and barbecue. We will also have amazing workshops, from camp cooking to how to navigate offline,
solar power,
how to set up your solar setup, some meditation and journaling to help you really get connected to the outdoors. Several more workshops. We're also
using Gaia maps, how to use GPS, and the big one is going to be some fun though. Yeah,
the big event, Vroom Vroom Escape Room, which is some good friends of ours. They are designing a custom escape room because we'll be in the woods.
Throughout the forest.
Yes, it's an Escape the Forest game to get people using the Gaia GPS app, to get people exploring and comfortable walking through the woods, and just have fun. So we'll have amazing giveaways, amazing prizes, and I am happy to say that we are officially sold out. Sold out.
Yeah, can't make this one.
Yeah, so if you did not get a ticket to the gathering for 2021, be on the lookout, because this is an event that we will do again. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Staples and Tents. Follow us on YouTube, also Staples and Tents, as well as Facebook and TikTok and all that good stuff. Yeah. So just make sure you're following us so that you can see when we will have our next activity and where the next activity will be, because we're going to do this again for you guys.
Yeah.
You can find us on social media on all platforms at Staples and Tents. Staples is our last name, and we sleep in tents. That's INTENTS.
Yeah.
And you can also find us on Instagram at Black People Off Road. Yeah. Make sure you tag Black People Off Road so that YouTube can be featured and spread the whole idea of the diversity in the outdoors.